I could barely be asked when we started talking, and now it's just got even further downhill.
Hello, Jody Raynsford. Hello,
Hey, hello.
do-badders.
Hello, David Hellard. That's a long, long time since I've seen you in a mudstickle top.
Yeah, I love it. What a great top. Brave, dirty and proud, whatever it's called. Absolutely just, it was the top of my pile. Put it on. That's how I dress. Live for everything. But do-badders, we're doing this is the third week in a row where our end up on time. So we're starting to record this. There's a chance this may be cut in half. There's a chance it may not. We're willing to take that risk.
We always take that risk. Well, except we're willing to take that risk on behalf of Nick, who then has to edit it. So it's not the risk isn't our part. The risk is that it gets really difficult for Nick. Sorry, Nick.
Sorry, Nick. But I've been to a park run.
What? I thought you're some kind of elitist who hates park runs. You're some kind of elitist who could not possibly run anything rather than the longest ultra marathon ever.
It's true. Yeah, I was up.
Go on. Which one?
It was really. I've no idea. I was driven there. Usual
No
story.
idea.
Sheffield. There's a few in Sheffield. What are the Sheffield ones? So I was up seeing Mr. Bent.
Sheffield?
Seeing lovely Mr. Bent, Danny Bent.
Oh.
Have to catch up with my boy. So we try and go up once a year. Me and Briggsy at least to see him and Baz from Love Trails and a few other lovely people. And yeah, we did a park run. Wow, it's what I love about park runs is they're so different to each other. I mean, they're 5K, but they're so different to each other. We got there about 5 minutes late, and this is one of those park runs. I imagine
they're still doing the sermon at the start.
No, thankfully. I mean, we were 5 minutes late to the start as opposed to 9 o'clock for various reasons. But yeah, what I love about this race is that it's one of the loveliest but least appropriate venues to run a park run in. That apparently this place in Sheffield, they had a route, then the route got too big for the number of people who are racing it. And so they then said they couldn't run on the road, and so instead they pushed them onto this track. And so not only is it pretty muddy all the way around, but it's single track for several points during the 2-lap race. And so I was pleased because I was running with Danny and desperate for any kind of break where we were forced to walk, which on the second lap I assumed was coming and wasn't there by the time I got to the walking spot and had to run through, and it killed me. But just seeing all these youngsters tear it through who are clearly going for a PB or similar, where they're suddenly having to politely like dodge buggies, single file, and it's that's a thing. Park runs are designed based off the idea of the first person who wants to do a small park run in that area, and this was about 700 people suddenly going down a venue that probably would have been perfect for 200 or so, but yeah, amazing. You back running yet?
So no, wait. That's before we get on to me. So how did it all feel? How did your feet feel? How did your legs feel? How did that weird thing in your hip feel?
Hip's fine because I think that's covered enough that I can run a fair bit before I know how good it is, but not ideal. But lungs, my word, I've not really been doing much running over the last few weeks when I'm waiting for the podiatrist to do anything. And I've certainly not been doing any fast running for a while. And yeah, it wasn't on that I'm enjoying pushing myself here. It was definitely on I can't breathe. This is tough, man. I don't want to walk in front of all these people. That's going to be quite embarrassing, particularly because they thought we were the leaders or the kind of in second or third place because we came from so far behind.
We didn't tell them any difference.
Exactly. I mean, we weren't saying not the winners, not the leaders, nothing like that. So, but yeah, just nice to be at a new environment with people. Yeah. But yeah, are you back running?
I have been running. I've ran last week and this week, and exactly the same thing. It's actually I feel surprisingly okay in terms of my legs and everything because my feet were hurting, and obviously we had a discussion with about feet and everything. But it's just my lungs and my breathing, and I can't. it's so far back from where it was, and then after having COVID, it's quite, it's fine actually, because I was taking the approach that that we were talking about with podiatrist, around, running with form until you start breaking that form and then walking. And actually, that suited it really well, because that it wasn't a huge amount of running, but I was focused on kind of form, with that he was talking about, standing up straight and making sure that you're trying to run lightly. Although I wasn't running lightly, it was like, I was thinking, this is really loud. This is really loud, but yeah, it was absolutely fine. I was just really, really tired, like really, really. But I suppose I thought my legs are the issue, or feeling tired and stuff like that. But all my feet and everything was absolutely fine. It was just the breathing, and it made me realise actually that it's going to take ages to get back to where I mean, doing any kind of speed work and stuff feels like that's miles off.
Yeah, but you'd be surprised how quickly that comes back.
Yeah, normally, but after having had COVID, I wonder how, being a bit slow hasn't stopped. Like, that's the mentally.
It's your talent. It's your real your real ability.
And that's got nothing to do with COVID, man. You were like that before. It's just you've lost your self-awareness around it. That's the only difference.
You've lost your memory.
Yeah.
But look at these. Look at these puppies.
What are we looking at? What?
These are my. So after our podiatry. So this is the issue with the podcast, is that Jody and I talk in the past of things that you're yet to hear in the future podcast.
Oh yeah, we're talking about.
As if you've also absorbed the wisdom. You've absorbed the wisdom we've absorbed, and we're going through this together. We all adjust to this newfound information that you're yet to receive. So we've spoken to a very good podiatrist, and he has suggested lots of things. And I'm now wearing barefoot. I think they're called water shoes.
They're not dickhead shoes, are they?
I mean, they're pretty close. How would you? I mean, almost certainly yes. How would you define a dickhead shoe?
No. I think when you're defining dickhead shoes as shoes that basically look like clown shoes, because they've got sort of like the ridiculous front. The water. See those? We're talking about water shoes. Like when we were with the kids and stuff, we have like shoes that we use to walk into the water. And then you go and look on Amazon and you look for the things, and it's basically that's what they're offering as barefoot shoes. And I was thinking, fucking hell, I couldn't imagine running in those at all.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not running in them. I'm just wearing them day to day, because the idea is to strengthen my toes all day long. But yeah, I've got these water shoes, 20 quid.
What are they like?
They are, I mean, I love the fact that they don't look too awful because they're just bright yellow. They serve the job. The one thing...
I'm glad they don't look too awful because they're bright yellow.
Well, it's because the other one, there are all these weird designs where they just
are weird, aren't they?
Yeah, they look like someone's tried to put a design who's got no style. Whereas at least this is, you're just trying to be bright.
That's the thing.
Exactly. And but I found out why they're called water shoes. So after the park run, we met up with Danny's family and went wild swimming, or wild standing in water and getting straight out, if you're me. And on the way back, I put these on, only to discover that they all have holes in the bottom of the shoes, so that when you're walking across the moors, which has huge amounts of mud and wet puddles, it means that all the water goes in your feet, and actually they have there's nothing to stop you essentially just walking mud and water through all of your clothes and your trainers and everything. So yeah, that was, then there's no grip on them either. So it's been a testing bedding into them, but I like it. I'm brushing my teeth on one foot now, and I'm starting to.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been doing that as well. I'm like,
it's fun, isn't it?
On one side, I'm like, I'm all right, and on the other side, I'm like, oh, actually, I'm bad. And it aches. It aches very quickly.
Have you tried it with your eyes closed yet?
No, we annoyingly in our bathroom, the light's gone out, and it's not a case of changing the bulb. There's a problem with the electric, so it's dark in there. So it's pretty much without with your eyes closed anyway. But yeah, I've tried doing it with my eyes closed before, and I'm all over the place. But the thing is,
Yeah.
you've got to be careful because I've got. Have you ever heard of this? A water flosser.
A water fluffer?
A water flosser, not a water fluffer.
Oh, okay. A water flosser. No, for your teeth.
Yeah. Really good.
Okay.
I
Like a little jet gun.
I saw. It's not little. It's quite big actually. But I saw this on. I don't know where I saw it, and I thought I really wanted one of those. And then my sister came round the next day and said, "Oh, I bought you a present for your birthday, which is about 6 weeks late, but because of course of COVID. But I hope you like it. But it might be weird. You might want to take it back." And it was a water flosser, which was like insane because we do that all the time. I think I want something, and then she goes and buys it for me. Weird, and it's the other way around as well. And it's brilliant. It's really, really good, but it's really weird. And so instead of like flossing, you just basically have this thing you put in your mouth, and it fires.
You're going to attach it to the tap.
No, you charge it. I mean, this is still like that. You charge it, and then it has like a reservoir in it that you fill up, and then you wait 1 second. What?
So for our YouTube viewers, because I understand we are on YouTube now, or short to be. What should we talk about? Mo, his 10k time has gone, which is pretty impressive. The GBPB. I like that, GBPB. Yes, Jody's back.
Look at the size of that.
What? So how often do you have to refill the reservoir on that?
So you've got to fill. I need about two or three changes of that. And the thing is, when you first start doing, can you open it in your mouth and do it like that? And it's really good. But the thing is, sometimes you leave it in a bit too long because you're not used to you just want it to do it in one reservoir. And so,
yeah.
but then you forget, and then you pull it out, and you like. I mean, it's quite an interesting weapon. It's really good. It's really, really good.
And you're convinced it cleans as much, if not more?
Well, it definitely cleans more because I keep forgetting to floss. So this definitely works more in the sense that I do it more. So it is more effective.
Amazing. I love it. Well, while you were away, I was introducing the GBPB, which is Mo Farah's 10k record time has been beaten, which I think is pretty exciting. Yeah, that's right. So, a guy called Emil Keres.
Yeah.
And he's, what do we know about him? He's from Yorkshire. He ran 27:44 in Valencia. And it seems like, no, as you say, what? It's not really been noticed that much. Given that Mo Farah was double Olympian at the 10,000 metres, you'd think people would be more excited about this time. Granted, Mo was good not because of his overall pace and time, but his kick and his psychological dominance of the field. But yeah, I've congratulated Emil. Question is, do you think we want him on the poddy?
Has he got? What do we know about him?
He's called Emil. His second name is Keres. He's from Yorkshire. He runs. He's got a blue top.
It might help if we have him. It might help the elitist claims.
The do badders. Do we want Emil on the podcast? Should we reach out and ask him to come on?
That's the first step. And the second step, does he want to come on? That might be
second.
They might nix that conversation straight away.
No, I'm confident. I'm confident with my charm. He would, of course, want to come on. And also, you forget, he can't go on marathon talk anymore. So he's like, well, might as well go on the second, third, fourth, or fifth, or sixth, or seventh best British podcast in the UK. Yeah.
Imagine that. Imagine looking at it going, oh, yeah, I've really achieved them. I want to celebrate with Maybe I won't bother with podcasts. Maybe I'll.
Yeah, straight to print. Talking about podcasts, so I'm a fan of Off Menu, mainly
Off
because
Menu.
James Acaster is in it.
Oh, that
So,
one! Oh my God! I don't think we've talked about that, have we? Have we talked? I don't think we talked about it. You told me to listen to
Bill
the-
Murray,
not Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd,
You
yes,
told me to listen to the Dan Aykroyd one, and I did, which was just utterly amazing.
one of the greatest moments of podcasting ever.
Well, there's so much I love about it. There's so much I love about it, which it's their reaction to it. It's the fact he ploughed on. It's the fact that what an incredible marketing job he did. That's the thing. I mean, it was utterly shameless. It was so detailed as well. It had such high energy, and he was so detailed. And just maybe explain what Off Menu is about.
Off Menu is two comedians, one of which is probably my favourite comedian of the last 15 years or so, James Acaster, and they bring on guests to talk about their ideal meal, starter, main, dessert, and typically they'll digest what the course is, they'll say why, they'll discuss around it, and being comedians, it often goes on tangents. So instead, but this is where you relayed the Dan Aykroyd.
Oh yeah, so they invite Dan Aykroyd. Sorry, I didn't know where you were going there. So they invited Dan Aykroyd on, and I mean, literally, they said one sentence introducing Dan Aykroyd, and then it was a 60-minute stream of consciousness where he basically didn't give him a chance to speak, and he regaled what his favourite foods were, but all interspersed with his vodka brand or something.
I think it's his vodka brand. Yeah.
He literally every single meal that he would have has some element of his own vodka brand in it. And between every single course, it must have been like a 37-course meal of which you have this vodka in between.
Well, he explains every person sat with him and why as well. And yeah, it's worth listening to you about it. Whether you've listened to that podcast before or not, you'll get the sense of just how badly it's gone wrong, because they just start sniggering because they realise they're incapable of getting control back. And they know, like, this is the shittest podcast we've ever done, but actually it's quite funny. It's so bad.
It's the thing about it is that it's so bad they don't even say this is a proper podcast. They just call it a bonus, don't they? They call it a bonus episode. And the other thing was that James Acaster was going, I just wanted to start randomly throwing subjects at him to see how he gets it back onto his podcast.
Yeah. Amazing. But I was listening to an episode recently, and during each episode they have various elements to pad it out a bit, and one of them is they name an ingredient they dislike. That could be cilantro or chili pepper, whatever it may be, and in theory if the special guest,
do they say cilantro?
probably not cilantro, but for some reason that came to my hand or to my head. So but Dan Aykroyd they might. And yeah, so this time, instead of saying mint, whatever it may be, they said Lucozade Sport. And they then said, well, Lucozade Sport, it's brilliant for running, and it's really important you use when you're running to keep your blood sugar levels up and to keep you hydrated for like a 5 or a 10K, but we don't want it on our menu. And I just thought, we need to sell out more, because we've been so good at not taking any sponsorships that we don't agree with. And then a known diabetic is pushing Lucozade Sport as a running aid for 5 and 10Ks in a way that makes no sense for the podcast at all. And yeah, I'm just intrigued if anyone else has listened to that, and if anyone else, if they lost respect or gained respect because of it.
I wonder what we could get away with. I mean, if I'm all of a sudden advertising Biltong or something like that, then you're like, well, I think they might have sold out at this point.
I mean, I would be game for that. But
What vegan biltong? You can get
there
vegan
must be
biltong.
vegan.
Of course there is. What? Why?
What is? Yeah, exactly. Now, have you heard the news of something great that's coming back from the 90s?
What?
So I was tagged by Sarah, what's Sarah's name, in a Facebook group, and the post was asking, they're bringing back gladiators, and the post was saying, do you want to take on gladiators from 30 years ago? And the way it was written actually said, do you want to take on the gladiators from 30 years ago? I was wondering whether this is just badly punctuated advertising, whether indeed like Shadow and the Wolfman and all of those guys, Jet, are coming back, because I think that would be an amazing show, taking on the gladiators of the 90s.
It would be if they had all the old gladiators taking on all the old competitors. And that's when we see whether no, because then you get to see whether all of like the beefcakes and stuff, whether they've maintained their fitness going forward, and whether all of these people that are highly motivated competitors have maintained their fitness going forward. And it's just like who has like kept it up, who has had long-term fitness and propelled this out, and who is kind of where has it gone wrong? I think that's good.
Yeah. So we need to think of people to apply, because obviously I wouldn't get through because it'd be humiliating, but it would be too obvious that it would be humiliating. But we must know
so they'd let you through.
But I don't think it's the same as Ninja Warrior, where they let people through to just be useless first obstacle, because you've got to be on for the whole show. They need people to be a little bit credible. But I think someone like Danny Bent or Mark Mene, or like, we must know someone who we can get on the show, because I want to watch a buddy go on gladiators and go up and support them.
Yeah, it would be good to be in that audience. I wonder if you can still get the foam hands and everything. And
I think they'll bring back.
And the thing is, back then, when it was originally around, you couldn't get proper like customized T-shirts of any quality. They were like really shit ones, weren't they? Like really shit. Everyone's customized stuff was really, really crap. And it looked. You watch it now, you're like, fucking hell, that was only the 90s. It feels like you look at stuff from the 70s and it looks better than stuff from the 90s.
Yeah, massively. But yeah, is anyone can do better? Can anyone think of someone we know who can apply, who stands a chance?
When you think about the thing that they do, it feels as though it's really basic compared with like Ninja Warrior and everything else. It feels really, really basic.
But then again, Ninja Warrior, you're not having to take on like some of the events where you have to run and try and get the foam ball into the standing net, and you're just being rugby tackled to the ground repeatedly, 2-on-1. I mean, those are pretty tough to go through.
But there's no. I thought in the final thing, it's just you against the other competitor. There's no gladiators there.
Yeah, true. Yeah. But then the competitors would be the gladiators at the eliminator, because they're just too big to move quickly.
I tell you what, the one I liked was, which I thought that was properly good, is one where they're like swinging on the ring.
Hang time.
Tough. Whatever it's hang tough, isn't it? I think it's called. But I think that is like that is properly badass. That one. There were other ones which were rubbish, like when they stood on with the pugil sticks as well. That was quite good.
Yeah.
But the one where they stood on a platform and then they're pushing a giant ball against each other, you're like, this one's rubbish. Like there were some that were really, really good. And the other thing was, because I used to watch American Gladiators at like 2 a.m, whatever, long before they had the UK Gladiators. And the thing was, some of the competitors you got on that were as big as the Gladiators. Like you got like proper big people doing it, and so it was a bit more.
And you might get that now, because Joe Public is a lot bigger. Like the focus on size and protein and gains and things in society, that will be the issue. Is how can you get bigger than Joe Public when Joe Public is already massive?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it'd be interesting, as long as it's got the same Scottish bloke with the whistle.
Yeah, not Andrew. I know the guy you mean. Now, I've got quite a few bits of news to drop in. One of them, you heard Gary Robbins has moved on from Barkley Marathons, and he's not going to be doing it this year. This is a few weeks old, this one.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
No, I didn't see that at all. Was he still pushing at it?
Yeah,
Was he?
That's the trouble if you're someone who is as driven as he is, that it's the one bugbear that's going to tear into you, the fact you've never done it, and you were so close. What was he? I mean, 20 minutes away when he went wrong and took the wrong turning.
Yeah, yeah.
But
the thing is, nearly everyone we've spoken to, serious athlete who has been spoken about as possible Barclays runners and stuff like that, they know that. They know the obsession that you can have around that, and they just they cut it off before it becomes a thing. And it seems like that's the most sensible thing to do.
And it's nice actually. He's written quite a long article about it, and he has a family, and he's just said, I've realised that what am I doing here? This is an obsession that I don't need, and I'm missing time with my family, because some of his training runs were just going out and doing 12 hours of up and down, an hour up and an hour down a mountain, repeating that six times in the snow over winter. Like horrifically hard training runs, harder than anything we've ever done, just as training. And it's nice actually to see someone like himself realise that even if he finished Barclays,
no one would give a shit.
Yeah, it's essentially irrelevant, and it doesn't change how he feel about himself as a person.
No, well, that's fun. It's funny, isn't it? Because the thing is, even if he does finish it will still the main thing that people will remember about him is the time that he went wrong. I mean, it's true, isn't it? Like that was, you can kind of exorcise those demons as much as you want.
So, D-Badders, as we've had in the last two guests, for some reason, I don't know what's going on with our scheduling at the moment. In this bad stuff, we had someone turn up about 2/3 of the way through. So we have no idea what we've just been talking about. And lucky Nick, our editor, has to somehow edit this in. But it's now 5 to 10 at night. And so this is a shorter bad stuff, because, Jody, can you be asked to talk any more about stuff tonight?
I cannot. I could barely be asked when we started talking, and now it's just got even further downhill.
Yeah, that's a very good point. But Do-Badders, if you've got a bet that if you've got Martin, founder of Brewdog, and I are having a challenge, who can run a sub 18-minute 5K soonest, who can be the next one to do it? What is the bet? Get in the Facebook group and let us know on whether it should be carrot or stick, and what those carrots and sticks are for him or for me, because we will make that bet happen. The funnier, the sillier, the better. Thanks for listening, guys. We will be back next week with, I will quickly look at our schedule. In fact, I can't be asked to do that. Not even enough time for that.
There's a good way of finding out who's next week. Just look who's next week. Like...
I'm trying to do it for myself, and I don't think I've scheduled who's coming up on our interviews. But there's a chance.
It doesn't matter who's up next week. You're going to listen. You've got nothing else to do. If you stuck with it this long, you're going to listen to whoever we put up. We could put a monkey up next week who literally doesn't say anything, and you will still listen to it.
It's better than this, so tune in for improved chat. And thanks for listening, guys. Any suggestions of future guests, message me on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram to ask questions to them, or letters at badboyrunning.com, David at badboyrunning.com. We've got loads of feedback from the Do-Badders, but we've just run out of steam tonight because of we've done the interview as well.
I like you, Dogo. We haven't run out of time. Just run out of steam and enthusiasm for your words. If you want to join the
Indeed.
conversation, if you want to join the conversation and you haven't got the steam to talk to other do-badders, make sure you head over to the Facebook group, answer 3 questions, and we will let you in. If you want to buy merchandise, we are fully stocked. Although after the running show, I don't know whether we'll be fully stocked or not. But head to store.badboyrunning.com where you can buy merch aplenty.
And leave us a review. For example, we've had one recently from a new listener from the States. Her name is Written in South Korean, a woman who loves Korean, which her review was she discovered the gem based off the 80-20 running with Matt Fitzgerald, then went to Chris McDougall, and she's now a fangirl she's got fangirl status of the podcast. So we're listening to you, but we have a suggestion. You've written as your name a woman who loves Korean in Korean on iTunes. The do better thing is to write that in Japanese. That is the way to do it. The Japanese people see it and they're like, motherfucker, that's what we want. Those kind of reviews, that is the do better way. The funnier, the better. We're still waiting for our listeners in Lebanon to leave a review because we know we're number 1 out there. We have been pretty much.
And the bloody French.
And the French. We were complimentary about you in the last bad stuff, the Frenchies, and we need some reviews. And your review will be the only review in your country, which means anyone who looks us up, that will be the only opinion of the podcast. So you have all that power in your hands. Review us on iTunes, make it funny, and we'll see you next week, guys.